Hey everybody, we're excited to be here with you guys today to talk about one-place studies. It's a very popular topic amongst genealogists. If you don't know me, I'm Awen. I'm the Forest Elf of WikiTree. Below me is Julie. She's one of our team members and here to help with questions. And then our guest star for today, someday I'll do that in the right direction, is Azure Robinson. She's one of our project leaders, and she is a co-leader of our One Place Studies project. So that's why we have her here to talk to us. So how are you guys doing?
Really good. Another beautiful day here.
Yep, same here.
Good. We've got people from all over, it looks like, joining us. Ireland, Texas, the Netherlands, Los Angeles, New Hampshire.
Fantastic.
Good stuff.
Great to see everybody.
We've got a lot of corners of the world covered this morning.
Lots of
this
places
afternoon, this
to have
evening.
one place studies. Yeah, tomorrow. Yep, tomorrow. If we have any people from New Zealand, it's tomorrow. So, which is always so.
And Germany. Welcome, Francis and Heather in Illinois. My neighbor.
Oregon. Azure and I are neighbors.
That's right, you are.
In the same state, anyway.
Sunny New Mexico.
Ruth is here from England. Fantastic.
Northeast England. Washington State, Mary. Very cool. Well, we're here to talk about One Place Studies, so how about we jump into One Place Studies? And we'll just start with the most obvious question, Azure. What is a One Place Study?
All right. That's a question a lot of people have asked. So let me just read right from Wikipedia has a great article on what a one-place study is. It's basically focusing on a building, single road, village, community, town, and studying the people that lived there. So that's basically what it is. WikiTree is all about genealogy, so that's what we're doing here is the genealogy and history of a specific place.
Yeah, that's really cool. I think sometimes people hear place and they think just like a town or a village or a location, but like that was saying, it can also be a building, a house.
Yeah.
Anything along those lines.
And just recently, we added that a cemetery can be also as a place study. So that's kind of a joint venture between the two projects on WikiTree now is the cemetery, Global Cemetery Project and One Place Studies.
Nice. That seems like a good collaboration.
Yeah.
So since you brought it up, what is the One Place Study project that we have on WikiTree?
So WikiTree has basically right now we have 199 members, and just this year, since the beginning of the year, we've added 23 new studies.
Wow!
So that's really exciting.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and all over the place.
Can you name a couple of them just for interest?
Yeah, let me pull that up.
Oh, there's another Illinois person. Betsy.
Two more.
So I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
So we have one of the newest ones is in Casalvieri, Lazio. I hope I'm saying that right, in Italy.
Oh, nice.
And we have one in Randolph, Oregon. And we have a house history, Chapman Farmhouse in New York State.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And we have one in West Chiltington, Sussex. So there's an England one. And then we have Skilganabin, Antrim. So that's Ireland there for you. So we have them all over the place.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And another one I just wanted to mention, that Emma, our project leader for the Black Heritage Project, started one for Africatown, Alabama. So that was a new one this year as well.
Very cool. That's great. I didn't realize we had so many all over the place. That's exciting.
I know, exactly. And I might be starting a house study as well, because I had somebody contact me about a gentleman that I created a profile for, and she lives in his house, the house that he built back in the early 1900s.
Awesome.
So she contacted me to see if she could find out more about him and his family. So we may be starting a one-place study for that house.
That is cool.
That would be
Yeah,
fun.
it's really interesting.
We've had a couple houses come up during the WikiTree challenge that sound just like they have a really interesting history. So it would be fun to do things like that. I was just going to actually ask this question.
Layla wants to know what would you do for a one-place study for a house? What kind of information would you include?
Yeah, so I have one that is for a building in New York, Brooklyn. And it's basically all the records that you can find. And you want to talk to the local libraries for that location, because you can find property records for it and see, who owned it when. And so that's what you're doing. You're basically studying the history of that location. Who lived there, who died there, who was born there, the people who passed through there. So it's, newspaper articles, whatever records you can get your hands on.
So fun. Yeah, that would be cool. We just did in the Oliver Wakeman challenge, there was a story about a train station. And I was able to find all this information about the train station. And so in the back of my mind, I was like, I need to go back and do a free space page for this train station, because there was so much interesting stuff about it.
Yeah, exactly. That's what's really fun about it. And with WikiTree, the ability to have categories, and with a one-place study, we have the sticker. So you add that sticker to the profiles, those person profiles. So you can then, once you have people categorized to that location, you can, check your connections. You can see all the people that live there. It's a great way to navigate.
Yeah, for sure.
Our category feature is really cool. I mean, there's so many ways you can pull people together, and you might find connections that you just didn't know existed. And the one place study is a good example of that.
Yeah, it's really fun. Yeah.
So how does someone, if someone wants to have a one-place study on WikiTree and join the project, how did they go about doing that?
So we have a G2G post out for it. So there's a couple different ways you can navigate to that. You can go to help and then projects and see the listing on the project page there, and click into the project, the project page, which gives you the link to the welcome post. And I can share my screen.
Yeah, that'd be great.
For that.
I think it's the find menu that's on.
Yeah.
We have a question about the building that the one place study was started for in Brooklyn.
Okay, let me show the...
Yeah, let's do the how to join a project first, and then we can do the Brooklyn question.
So this is my navigation homepage. So if you just go to help, and then, find, and then projects, is how you can get to all of our projects on WikiTree. And if you just scroll down, the first section is under geographical, but we're going to go down to topical projects. And it's just right here under one name studies. And if you click on the link up here for that, it takes you to our project page. And this just gives a brief outline about what is a one-place study. And it talks about tags that you can follow on social media if you're on social media, so you can kind of keep abreast of news going on.
Cool.
And then right here it has answer our D2G welcome post. So that's where you would go in and answer the post for it, and just let us know what location you want to study, and we'll get that. We set that up for you, and then add you to the trusted list for that page, and you go on from there. We have a template we start you out with, and then you can fill in the information.
So just to clarify, they joined through the join post on G2G, and then the project leaders set up the free space page.
Yes.
So it has like the basic stuff to get started, and then add that person to it so they can work on it.
So that's part of the post here, is asking the new person to send us a private message, so we have their email address, so we can get them added to the new page that we're creating for them.
Nice.
We have a couple questions that have popped up while you were doing that.
Let me show the one that was asked about in Brooklyn real quick. Let's see. Here we go. So this is just an address in Brooklyn, Columbia Heights. And so it's...
Oh, cool pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So this is what we start out with. You know, I researched who lived there, the earliest records I could find for this location, and go from there, build up from there. And it's two buildings or two street numbers together, because the property now is 122, 124 Columbia Heights. So, but this shows what it was at the beginning. And then I have the population as far as I can find it for the different census, and going forward from there.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really neat.
So this is where I'm at right now in it. I'm done up to, I'm involved in doing the 1930 census. As far as I can tell, there were about 197 people there at the time. So,
wow.
Yeah, so that's basically what you do with one building. Mm-hmm. As you can see, it was really cool. I worked with a librarian at the Brooklyn Library and got some records about old Brooklyn Heights, New York's first suburb, and it shows it's a directory way back,
Wow.
1843.
So it was really very interesting learning all about that.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
Very cool.
JM from the Netherlands would like to know if we have a presence on our Discord server for the One Place Studies. Do we have a conversation going on out there?
Yeah, so once you've been assigned the badge, there's a channel that will open up on Discord. And that's where we have all of the members of One Place project.
Very cool.
And then William Vincent asks, do all locations in One Place Studies currently exist? So could you do an historical place, I think is what he's asking.
Yeah, you can do any location, basically. And right on the project page here, you can see what what free space pages already exist, what locations we already have projects going for. Mm-hmm. So you can search by country, or you can search by the name. So you can see these are all the places that we have place studies going on right now.
Cool.
That's great.
And then if you scroll down further, it takes you down to the actual listing of all the one place studies.
Again, we're back in the categories.
Yeah, how about that? And then Ruth
Jowett. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go for it.
I say Ruth Jowett was asking how small can you go with the place? And as we were just talking about a house, but she was mentioning that her great-grandfather and his brother were in an orphanage. And that, I think orphanages are an excellent place to study.
That would be so neat if somebody did a study for an orphanage. That would be really very interesting.
The
and
connections
really helpful.
there. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I can imagine somebody can get lost in an orphanage pretty easily.
Oh yeah, for sure. I have a great aunt who was in, her parents died, well, her mom died when she was young and then their dad split, but she had some issues, and so she was in this asylum for children that had issues. And I looked at it a couple times, and there were some really interesting people. Like, I looked at where they'd become as adults. And just, it would be really interesting to do one for the kids that were there.
Yeah.
So I guess I slightly misunderstood William's question. He wanted to know if there are places, OPSs for places that no longer exist, which is kind of what I meant by historical places. So a place that, a town that used to exist that maybe was disbanded or was absorbed by another.
Great segue. So here's here I'll show you one that I actually did. It's for Dawson, New Mexico. And it's a ghost town. It no longer exists. So it's a perfect example of what he's talking about. So yes, these are definitely places we can, we'd like to have it. Very interesting places out there. This is a mining town, not very far away from where I'm at. And it had two mining explosions that occurred. And so lots of, loss of life. And I think that's part of what caused the town to kind of shut down by 1950s. So, but yeah, that's what this one is all about. It's a historic town.
That's
very cool.
And again, locating these places that might have shown up on the census that aren't there anymore, it just helps for people to, again, make more connections.
Exactly.
Yep. Yeah. And so that's one thing I just wanted to mention, too, is that you can see here. So here's the sticker I was talking about for this study that you can add to the profiles of the people who lived there. And it will add the category. You can see here's the wiki markup for it. It'll add the category for you to that person profile. So if you click on categories and you go to that one place study category, you can see right now there's only 41 profiles, but here they are.
Nice.
Puts them all in there for you.
That's awesome.
And if the page was set up correctly to begin with, the link will work on the person profile to take people back to the actual space page. For members who were set up a while ago and it wasn't quite set up correctly, all they have to do is just send me a message and I can get that fixed up for them.
Oh, great.
Because what it is, it's the format of the page has to be set correctly for the sticker to work. So that's why we have the project leader set up the space page to begin with. So
that makes sense.
Yeah.
That kind of explains the reasoning behind that. Also, if somebody needs to, if they're no longer on WikiTree anymore, they had to leave for some reason or something happened, they're no longer participating. We like to have the project be a co-profile manager so that then that can be, managed on the back end
It's always
better.
accessible.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So
And I,
AON set us up with a project profile so that we can have that. So if somebody has a one place study that's an older study, all they need to do to add that, we're asking you to add that. So here's one, I removed it and now I'm going to show how to add the one place study project as a profile manager. So you just go into the privacy tab and you scroll down to add to the trusted list. And if you just add the email address for the one place study project to that, and it's wt1placestudies@googlegroups.com, and I'll make sure that that's on the project page. And then just click add this person. And then you need to scroll back down one more time and go to the trusted list and add as manager. And that'll add one place study as a co-profile manager.
perfect.
Nice. Very cool.
Yeah. So another sticker on this study page is the One Place Society for One Place Studies sticker, showing that this study is registered with that society. So that's something we just got set up with the society recently. And the society is a great place to check out. They have great resources. If you want to become a member and register your study, they're great people to work with. They're also... Oh, go ahead.
Is it free to register your study?
No, there is a fee to join, but I can't remember how much it was. Let's see. Oh, here we go. So $15.
Well, that's not bad.
And you can register how many ever studies you have.
Nice.
So you can register. It doesn't have a limit.
I imagine that expands your audience too, so you might get input from more people.
Exactly. So here they have a page here on what the benefits of joining are, and that is one of the main benefits is being able to work, get feedback from other people, and yeah, great community to be a part of there.
Yeah, they've been really supportive of us too.
Yeah.
We had another question pop up. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Finish up.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah, so I just was going to say that there's a page on WikiTree for the Society for One Place Studies. We have a presence there for them. Janet Berry is one of their chair people. So you can kind of check out, here's the sticker again, and that's the code for it. And then here's their links.
Oh, that's fantastic.
That's great.
Yeah.
Nice that you set up that partnership there. That's great.
Very cool.
So Betsy was asking if we had a map of all of the One Place studies that are currently in existence.
Okay.
I'm gonna guess maybe not, but I think it looks like there's maps related to each individual place, or is there a global map?
The map that Alesh is, that map. There's that map that they're part of.
Which map is that map?
Well, the WikiTree map, the
category map.
Where you can look at categories on. Sorry, I'm
Oh,
drawing.
on Alesha's mapping app.
Yes.
Oh, okay, okay.
You can see because all of the one place studies have that category,
Hmm.
Okay.
have this category, so you can see where all of them are. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Nice.
it would be cool if we could have that like on the
Where is his
project
map?
page, where people could just click real quick to see her.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to add that in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. That'd be great.
I always forget. Oh, it's in apps, right? Help apps.
Yeah.
Is a
Probably.
map
Yes.
thing.
Should
I
be.
think so.
Cemetery mapping.
No. Find apps. It's always on the find menu.
Huh. For some reason yeah, I thought for sure it was here, but it's not. I'm totally drawing a blank on where to go.
Let me see
That's
if
okay.
you carry on. I'll see if I can find it.
Okay.
Yeah, or just having a link to that where people can just click on the project
Yeah,
page or whatever and
that's
see, it'd be cool.
That's a great idea.
Well, she's doing that. Maybe you can tell us. Social media is such a big thing these days. So, how can people incorporate social media with their one place study?
Yeah. So, let me go ahead and bring up my Twitter here. So there are. Oh, here we are.
Oh, look, weird.
So, there's a hashtag for One Place Wednesdays that you can check out and add to your if you make a post about your One Place study, just add that. There's also the One Place Studies hashtag you can add. So that's a good way. And just if you follow that tag, you can see what else is going on in the community around that.
Oh, yeah.
And some good places to follow on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram is Society for One Place Studies. And then One Place Studies directory is a free directory out there. If you want to,
Oh, cool.
if you have a study, you can get it registered on there. It's really easy. And there's actually we have a space page for them here.
Cool.
Martin White is actually a WikiTree member and a One Place Study project member who actually created the site and manages it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So, and we even have a sticker you can add. It's not a sticker, I'm sorry. It's just a little image that you can add to your study so that you can say that you're registered on there.
Nice.
And he has quite a few registered, so it's a great community too. He posts whenever somebody's new added. He usually makes a post on social media that he's added them. So
nice. That's a great way to get some attention.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So update on the map app.
Okay.
I couldn't find it right away, but I'll talk, or one of us can talk to Alesh and see about getting that incorporated into your category pages.
That'd be great.
While we're still talking about categories, Julie, do you have a cemetery category up?
I do.
I just wanted to show the my connections and my cousin features that you can do now because it's really cool, especially for one place studies. It's
Yes.
a very handy feature to be able to see like who you're related or connected to in the area.
Yeah, I was really surprised on one of my studies, the one I'm doing for Tone where I live.
Mm-hmm.
When I used that feature, I was surprised at how many people I'm related to here. You know, looking at my connections. Yeah, amazing.
I know, it's fun. I just like to go to random categories where it's like I shouldn't have anything there, and I still find connections and relationships. It's really cool.
Well, it's
Yeah.
interesting that you said that, Aowen, because this is a cemetery that I started documenting. It's just down the road from me. And I shouldn't be related to anybody in here. This is not my hometown. I don't have any people here.
Yeah.
So, but you'll notice there's a My Connections button up here. So if I click that, we'll see that I do have some ancestors and cousins in this cemetery.
Wow.
They're quite distant, of course,
but still,
but
it's
we're
cool.
still connected. Yeah. So it's kind of a fun feature on our category pages that you can do that now. You can go into any category and find any of your, see if you're related to anybody there, which will give you a path to go back and check in your research and make sure that all those connections are correct.
Yeah.
For sure.
But I haven't done a one name study on this yet.
One place.
I'm sorry, one place. Thank you.
You should.
Sorry, I'm just trying to confuse everybody.
So are there any other kinds of maybe one place studies that people haven't thought about, that we haven't talked about? It kind of seems to me that if it's a location, it can be a one place study.
Yeah.
Or if it was a location at one time, then it's, a one place study.
Yep.
Very
Definitely.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so interesting. Now I just want to not work and go do a bunch of one place studies. I've thought of like 12 different ones while I've been sitting here. It's like, oh, I could do that one, I could do that one.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very distracting. So our audience out here, anybody thinking that they are going to run out and start a one place study today?
Or did we answer all your questions? Do you have more for Azure?
JM said a certain company would make a great one place study too. That's absolutely true.
Yeah.
Yeah. See how distracted I am? I can't make sentences.
Christopher Allen might go make his 4th one place study. I know he's doing one in Italy. He's got the Haverhill, Massachusetts one.
And he's got 2 actually in Italy. I'm not going to try to pronounce the names. But yeah, I have another ghost town that kind of got me started in one place studies. Andersonia, California is a ghost town, and it's through my uncle. His family is the one that actually is who it's named after, and so that's kind of what got me started in it, is getting that all set up.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
So what would be your first step then, Azure, if you were going to start researching a place like that? What would be your first step?
I would just go first and check and see if it's already being covered. Maybe you can join the person who's got that study going already. So that would be my first step, just to check first to make sure it's not already being done. And that next, kind of start gathering some information to see what all would be involved in doing a study of that one place. Make sure you can take that on.
Yeah.
These ghost towns that have kind of a limited amount of population were a little easier to kind of get started for me. But yeah, just making sure you can take on the bandwidth of it. And then the One Place project page has some great resources on starting a One Place study.
Okay.
What to do, how to get started. And some of those resources are actually from the Society of One Place Studies. So, and some of those resources are free for anybody to check out. So I definitely would recommend checking out the documentation that we have out there on getting that started. They have a page, the basics of doing a one place study, choosing a place. They have a document out there for free on that. Christy Gray has some YouTube videos one place study from scratch, and reconstructing a community. So those are
Okay.
some things that I would recommend doing. And then
Oh,
go
that's
ahead,
great.
if somebody's ready, just go ahead and answer that join post.
Very cool.
Bev had some good questions. You've kind of covered some of this already, but how do you know if a place is a good candidate for an OPS, and what characteristics of a place might you look for? Is that easy enough to answer?
I think everywhere. I mean, it'd be great to have a one place study for everywhere, but basically, if you have an interest in that place or connection, that to me would be kind of the starting point.
Yeah.
And something to draw you in. But I don't think there would be a restriction other than you don't want to take on too big of a place. It'd be better to start small with a building or a street study. Or
Yeah, you don't want like a Texas one place study.
yeah, exactly. Or even a county. A county's really too big
Yeah.
because it's multiple cities. It'd be better to do one small village at a time, or even a neighborhood at a time,
I
and then
know.
kind
I saw
of stack them.
I saw this was debated a little while ago, I think, if I remember right, but like a street, just doing a street can be a one place study.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, a street study. Yep,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, so definitely that would be my only kind of like, let's try to keep it manageable size. And then, yeah, just what was the second part of the question again? I'm sorry.
What characteristics of a location
Oh,
would you look for? I
yeah,
think it might differ depending on what kind of location it is.
yeah, and what you're interested in personally. I mean, what will keep you interested in going, on working on it, basically.
Right.
But yeah, one of the first things I did was search through some newspapers and see if there was some historical events that happened around that place. That's a good thing to kind of get you started, maybe learning more about it.
Yeah, you mentioned the mining disasters in the one ghost town
Yeah,
that you were looking at. That would be a good starting point.
yeah. And so that's another kind of joint relationship is the Worldwide Disasters Project. That checking in with other projects to see where the connections are and linking in with them.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Let's see. Liza found a place in Quebec that she's working on. She contacted somebody who had already started a one place study.
Yeah.
And now I guess they're working together on that.
That's great. I'd love to have some help. If anybody wants to help me on mine, I'd love to have any help.
And I think we've inspired Ruth to dig into her orphanage there. So.
Do it, Ruth.
That's
do
great.
it.
Yes.
All right.
That's fantastic. Yeah. That's a nice, it seems like, 218 people is a nice, that'll keep you busy for a while, but it's also manageable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. The one I started with, Andersonia, it's fairly small too. It's under 100 people. And so I was also, one of the next phases I did in it was make sure that they're all connected to the tree. And so they're all but 2 are connected to the tree now. So
wow.
Very cool.
Yeah. There was just 2 people they just, I couldn't find any. They were like brick walls in themselves.
That's what I like about doing this, though, because a lot of times you'll find people in a location that are working as a laborer. They might be a boarder in somebody else's house, and you don't know their origins, and so somebody might be out there looking for them. And if you create a profile for them and start researching them on your own, then you just never know what kind of doors you're going to open up for somebody else.
Exactly. Like the first that Brooklyn location, the first few families that lived there, they had servants and from Ireland and named Mary, and the really common names. And so I went through every single one and ruled out the ones that were already on WikiTree, but I created the profile and just went to town on the research notes. with everything I had on that person, because
Wow.
you never know, somebody
Awesome.
might be looking for that ancestor.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah,
yeah.
that's what it's all about.
Very cool.
So Susan sounds like she's a little bit stuck for right now. She started an OPS for Chabaco Parish in Massachusetts.
Okay.
Contacted somebody, never heard back, so she doesn't really know what to do next. Can you give her
Okay.
some pointers?
Yeah, I'll check. It doesn't sound familiar, but I'll check back through the join post and see where that's at.
I'll write it
And
down for you.
Thanks. Yeah, Susan, can you give us your profile ID too, just so we don't have to.
And then Azure
That'll
can get
help
a hold
us
of you.
narrow it down a little bit more. Yeah, we'll get back to you on that, definitely.
I just want to. Do I have to do anything else today besides starting a one-place study?
Nope, it's Wednesday. It's all about one place.
One place study Wednesday.
Oh,
I really want to go do that. I have so many rabbit holes that are waiting for me to trip and fall in.
Oh man, I'm kidding.
Okay, I've got your ID, Susan. We'll make sure that somebody gets in touch with you about that. Rolf wants to know, how small should a city be? Maybe if it's a big city, narrow it down to a street.
Yeah, that's a really good question, because somewhere like Manhattan, that would be a lot to take on. So it's better, in especially cases like that, to definitely start in a small area. So a street study would be great. Or even in that case, a building, because those buildings by themselves that's a lot of people that have lived there over the years. So
that's true too.
You just reminded me of a house that I discovered up in Wisconsin, where some of my Swedish relatives who immigrated to America ended up. It's a long story that I won't bore you with, but I could do a one-place study on the house.
Exactly.
Julie's gonna start 6 one-place studies today.
Well, and it's really, just like the one member mentioned, I can't remember her name. She just mentioned about joining somebody else who already had the study started. That's a
Susan
great.
Anderson. Yeah.
If you have it set up, you can draw more people in, and definitely make a post out on social media about it, because maybe there's somebody out there who hasn't heard about WikiTree yet, but they see this post about this location where they're interested in the history of it. So
right, yeah,
exactly.
And so you can divide up the tasks, and somebody can focus on this, and somebody can focus on that.
Yep, that
Kathy
collaborative
says,
genealogy.
What about doing a family in a place as a one-place study, or maybe a surname?
Yeah, so that would just be I think that would be a one name study.
Yeah.
Because the place you wouldn't want to narrow it down that to just that person. That place is more than that family name. So I think at that point you'd want to focus, if that's your interest, focus on the one name study aspect of it, or maybe do both.
Yeah,
just link into both of them.
One name in one place.
Yep. Yeah.
So Rolf says that his mother comes from a town in Germany back to the late 1600s, and there's not just one street, of course. How could he focus in on managing that if the town? I mean, if the town's a manageable size, he could still do the town, right?
Still do the town, yeah.
Oh yeah. So just if you want to just focus on a town, we were mainly talking about just huge town, huge cities. I mean, that would be, like a metropolis would be too big.
Right.
Too many people to try to manage. Yeah. But something like a town like that's fine. That's perfect. There's quite a few one-place studies that are from old towns back in Europe, and that's definitely manageable.
You're getting a lot of good questions here, Azure.
Yeah.
If you were going to do an OPS for a small town, what is a good way to keep track of the buildings and houses in the town that you have researched?
Yeah, so your space page is a great place for that. If you need to have like supplemental pages to your main study page, that's definitely something you can do, and just link into it. There are different ways you can kind of set that up. The Bethel house study that I was sharing earlier, the 122, 124. So what I've got is for those years when there were more than 100 people there, I've got a page for that census year. So a free space page for that census year and a listing of the people that were there. So it makes it more manageable breaking it out that way. I can share that real quick.
Sure.
So you've got it set up as kind of a network of pages then that all come from
Exactly.
that one main free space page.
Yep. Let me show you real quick what that kind of looks like, because that's a lot. So back down here in the population section, where I've got the residents listed out, down here where it starts in 1910, I've got a space page starting from then. I've got a space page for each of these census years. Because it's New York, there's 1915 and 1925 census also. So that's what this looks like. So this one I'm all done. I've added everybody who's in this census record for this location. So I've got their profile linked to the name on the census for them. And just kind of, it's a table. If somebody needs help setting up a table, they can just send me a note. There's also a website tool that kind of makes it really easy to create a table too. So I can share that if anybody's interested. But that's how I would break it out, just by census year, if you want to do it that way. Or you could do it by maybe by streets. You could have a different space page by street.
Oh, good idea.
So it's just
that
however
might help Rolf.
Yeah.
Yeah. However, you kind of want to break it up. That works for you. So.
And then Kathy is asking, what would be the maximum size of a place that you'd want to do a study on?
I think that you have to kind of ask yourself that question. I mean, you wouldn't want to go as big as like we were talking about. You wouldn't want to go as big as Manhattan, but you need to think about, well, how much can I take on myself? What's my bandwidth? And that's what we were talking about, starting small, starting with maybe a building that you have an interest in, and then you can build up from there if that's something that you see that you're able to take on. Does that make sense?
Does to me. Yeah, I think it would be really easy to get in over your head. And I think like someplace like a larger city like that, it would be, like you said, I love the idea of putting together a table with the different streets.
Yeah.
And then if you can get people to join you on that study, then, everybody could take a different street or.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yay, Ruth.
All right, Ruth, great. We'll get you all set up after the live cast here. Great to have you join us.
It's free. Why not do it?
I know.
All it takes is time, right?
Yeah, just that thing time. I'll have plenty of that.
Sure.
Speaking of time.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, speaking of time, we're coming up on about an hour.
So, I really enjoyed this, Azure. I learned a lot because I haven't.
That was very good.
Yeah, I'm really glad that we were able to do this.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
And I guess the thing to remember is to just take it a bite at a time. You don't have to do the whole thing all at once. Just break it up into pieces and stay organized. JC says she's apparently been doing one informally.
All right. Well, let's get it up
formalized.
Get it
Yes,
formalized.
ma'am. Do it. That's great.
Well, Azure, I'm glad you're the project leader for One Place Studies. You and Amy, who unfortunately couldn't be here today. But you guys are awesome.
Oh, thanks.
I appreciate you doing this live cast for sure. And maybe we can even link this to the project page.
Yes, definitely.
Great idea. Yes.
Most definitely.
So that people can watch it. So, anything else before we go?
I think that's it. That was everything.
All right. Thanks, WikiTree.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody.